Hello there, welcome back to Dominions 5 Abridged. In the previous part we finally achieved the dream of conquering the undersea part of the map after taking out the fort belonging to the other faction. But other people also started coming down under the sea, had some trouble with some knights running across the seabed. Unexpected and inconvenient, dealt with it in the end though. Now we're trying to take over some of the land, trying to go for this little peninsula down at the bottom of the map. I've also made another important discovery. After last time realizing that mages can do research, I've now cottoned on to the fact that priests can do special things as well. We've got one there calling the god back, so I think our jellyfish is eventually going to be respawned by this. Another option you can do is to preach the teachings of God, so we can try to spread belief in the jellyfish. That's the yellow highlighted thing on the map, which doesn't cover very much of our territory at the moment. And we can build temples. This, I think, achieves something similar in the background. It passively spreads belief in your god, or something. Well, we could do with a bit more belief. The fact our jellyfish is dead probably doesn't help. If we can get it back, that should make it easier to convince people that it actually exists. Well, in theory anyway, who knows how the game actually works. For now, we carry on with our military campaign. We were attacked by the purple guys I'm facing off against on the land. We've already got a bit of land on the end of their peninsula, and they appear to be trying to push us off with this counterattack that has failed. That's ideal because it's reducing the amount of stuff in front of me. I need to get one tile to the left to get a fort and a nice choke point, then we'll be more securely on the land. Here's a look at that battle. They brought a few griffins with them, and those things can essentially just go and fly over the battlefield to appear at the back. We're charging the enemy with our pile of trash, including a bunch of weird lizard man things we recruited on land. The griffins gave us some trouble at the back, but nothing really bad happened. We took them downtown, as we already knew before the battle happened. Here's us losing a battle. To the right in the sea, somebody on the other coast of the land has come down to attack. Appears to be some kind of like stone golem troop. These weird looking things basically overrun our terrible merman style troops who have no stats as far as I can tell. Very good, we'll have to counterattack and take that back. I think I had troops right next to them so we could do it immediately. In fact, there is the confirmation that we've done it. We just sent some guys in to kill them. So again, we just have to keep in mind that guys on the land to either side of our empire might just randomly attack us. We have to keep some defenses and some troops ready for that. In fact, it's happening again on the other side. The orange guys are back at it again with their Knights of the Chalice appearing to do very well against our troops. They're getting tons of kills and taking very few casualties. I think I was able to overwhelm them in this case because I had tons of mermen around this province who I just absolutely spammed in to finish off the survivors of that battle. My main move is this. I was trying to be cheeky and strategic. I thought maybe if I cut off the fort by making an aquatic landing further down this peninsula, it will help in some way. It doesn't. I don't think the game works like that. There's no like supply lines or communication line system. Well, it was a nice idea at least. Here we get some good news. Some kind of new god-like creature has appeared. Our god hasn't come back, but we have got some sort of sea serpent that's decided to join our cause. It can't go on land, but it's a powerful underwater unit and a good mage as well. So they can hang out and defend our underwater borders. Here's a look at our charge onto land down south, and you can see I've now replaced my mostly trash-based main force with a mostly good main force. We're just charging in with our quality units en masse now. Not going to mess about because the trash was unreliable and not that effective. I guess they're useful at just taking damage for you. But for doing damage, spamming good units has got to be the way to go. So we achieved my little cut-off plan, but as mentioned, I don't think that does anything, so it's not really an achievement. The orange guys are nearby, taking some more of our sea. Our only real reaction is to spend money to increase our defenses. We don't have an army nearby to stop that group of knights. I'm just going to hope we can somehow stop them with massed trash. You can probably guess how well that's going to work. Let's see how things look in the next turn. We had a battle against the purple guys. They tried to counterattack our new position on their peninsula with a whole load of stuff, and it looks like it didn't go very well for them. We killed virtually everything they fielded in that little army. Perfect, now they're even weaker in this area. Thought I'd take a look at the fight. just various groups of miscellaneous stuff. This faction is kind of like undead Romans. I think that's their theme. They have lots of legionary type guys, but they're also undead. Hopefully no match for a charge of our tentacly guys with spears, who I think are supposed to be a good unit. Again, I don't really know the numbers or the stats, and I'm probably never going to know them at this stage. I just like to believe certain things about certain units. When it comes to the orange guys though, well, it's gone poorly. They have advanced another tile, absolutely slaughtering everything I prepared in defense there, so that money didn't really go very far. We barely killed any of them, and this is getting increasingly frustrating. I was looking at them here like, well, I suppose your numbers must be good, but how are you even down here? Why am I facing the Knights of the Chalice on the sea floor? They're probably doing some kind of magic. Someone might have told me in the comments already, but it was an increasing frustration and an increasing disruption to my military plans, having this actually very long and exposed border that I have to worry about increasingly. Right now, the main thing I suppose it's doing is stopping me making my attack on that castle, because I'm diverting units to try and deal with the marauding knights. Well, here's the next turn. Looks like we were attacked again near the castle and slaughtered a decently sized enemy army. A good trade has occurred, and what we're losing is mostly our lower level trash. All good stuff. We're further improving our situation on land, and in the sea, it's a swing and a miss, because while I moved to attack the knights moved away, so my main attacking force didn't really do anything this turn. Now the knights are over here, deeper into our territory. Very annoying. I've still got stuff nearby I can throw at them, but after that it seemed I thought, well, let's just go for this castle attack that I've been setting up for. If I move further away, then I'll have to wait even longer to come back and make it, so it's really probably the best to just do it right now before we get too distracted by the knights. And I sent a massive wave of mermen to try and stop the knights if they could. I didn't expect this to really do anything, but it turns out that it did. After slaughtering us before, this time we somehow took them down. It might be because we also have these different species of sea thing that is also a spear unit. Maybe there's a bonus against cav like in Total War. Who knows? Here's the bigger battle though on land. My thralls go in and tank a load of damage, not doing all that much. Then in comes the wave of good troops. Here's a battle where it would have been really good to have a squad go around and make a flank attack or something, so that we could have those archers in a melee. Instead, we're kind of held up fighting the zombie legionnaires, and the archers are gradually damaging us more and more. In this case, the fight doesn't last that long, and we break through, kill everything, and we've now secured the grounds outside the castle. On the topic of castles, I've been building a few more myself. You can build a palisade wall in any location and then upgrade that to a full castle. So that's going to help us deter the guys sitting on land from coming down into the sea. That's the plan anyway, so I'm putting some money into that. Moving on to the next turn, I've got another invasion going on. This one is down in the bottom right of the sea. I think I tried to get on land here before and failed. Well, I've sent another bunch of stuff to try and get in. The force we're facing is mostly archers, so that's pretty good. Their little melee force doesn't do much. We run right past them and immediately start fighting the archers in melee. That's probably going to be to their disadvantage, and we indeed win that battle and secure the territory. But here's the more important battle. We've already opened up the castle wall, so we can go in for an attack with our powerful army. They're spamming out some troops to stop us, but it's not going to be enough. However, this time we've actually got some ranged units on the walls, so we're taking damage throughout this fight. There are tons of necro priest type guys back there who are spawning more undead soldiers running out at us. There's also a dragon in our back lines getting up to no good. And of course, our guys are kind of stuck up against the wall. Most of our troops aren't doing anything at the moment. Although, here's the breakthrough. We run in, we're ready to go up on the wall and take out those slingers. But it's too late. Everything else outside actually runs away just as we get the breakthrough. So that is particularly unfortunate. We lose tons of stuff as they run since they're still getting hit. And it's a disaster overall. We lost more than half of our army in that battle. As far as I can tell, there's no way to know what's inside a castle when you're going to attack it. You just have to do it and see if you take it. Well, now we know there's not that much in there actually, but our force still wasn't enough to take it down. And then I spot this. Over 400 enemy troops have appeared nearby. So with those guys on our radar and with most of our troops in this area suddenly gone, things are looking a lot worse since the last turn. It's degrading rapidly. We get attacked under the sea in the next turn by 100 or so of that large group of enemies, so this confirms to us that these undead units can come down under the sea and attack us. Could be the same thing with the Knights of the Chalice, where there's some circumstance that allows them to do this sometimes, or they're using magic, something like that. Well, whatever the case, they're down here now, and we're in trouble. We have a bit of a garrison army here that just gets killed. Now we're further strategically outflanked by the enemy. They've also moved the rest of their main force up to the front, and I'm starting to run away. I'm going to order everything to just get out of there. We're going to gather up around our besieged castle as much as we can. As it happens, the group that was under the sea comes up to try and relieve that siege. Could be a problem, but because it's not that big of a group, it's actually not that bad, and our wall of guerrillas runs forward and kills most of them. I think we lose like half the guerrillas as well. But a sheer spam tactic appears to clear out most of this group of the army. It is by now only the smallest section of the enemy army, but that's going to buy us some time for sure. Plus the enemy's main force didn't advance. I think they fought with some rebels or something in that territory. They didn't move. Absolutely perfect. That buys us an extra turn. What we're going to do is try and gather up as much stuff at this castle as possible and use it as a choke point. Even though we don't have the castle itself, the territory is still a choke point. An interesting battle occurs because for whatever reason the god of the pink faction from earlier in the campaign appears to have come back. Maybe they did the call god thing, and this Medusa mermaid comes back in their home province, which is controlled by me. So suddenly we have this random battle out there. We did have a bit of stuff here in the garrison, just some spam. It proves enough to win the battle, so that's a nice little side note. We've stopped that god coming back. Here though is some bad news. Looks like their massive force has advanced forward and just done the business. Over 500 troops attacked us at that place to the left of the castle we're trying to take. We did have some stuff here because I had paid to put a garrison in even after I removed all of my regular troops. Thought I'd take a look just for the sheer spectacle. So there's 500 miscellaneous Roman things coming at us. Our troops, well, they're just going to go for it. There's no retreat in situations like this, it turns out. Suffice to say that battle doesn't go very well, and this brings the enemy right up to our doorstep. I was able to take back the sea down to the south, but still a bad situation. This enormous block of troops can do whatever it wants. We're at risk of losing what remains of the main part of our army, which takes a long time to get back. These Ithilid soldiers, the guys with armor and tentacles, are good troops, can only be recruited very slowly, so we don't want to lose everything. I ended up doubling down. We had two options basically: run away to reduce the chance of them attacking, but if they did attack we wouldn't be able to run away, or we can throw everything in front of them and see what happens, and we are going for the latter option. Now a quick side note, this was about the point in the campaign when I noticed that our dominion is shrinking, that is to say the yellow area. Gradually everybody is starting to lose faith in the mighty jellyfish, and while I didn't know this at the time, I later found out on the wiki that if you lose dominion in all of your provinces, you lose the game. So we're actually running out of time here because enemy dominion is seeping, it kind of spreads. They've got more religious buildings and power, the guys on either side of us, so they're able to spread their religion down into the sea, and we're not really spreading ours. So I'm going to start making more priests. I didn't know that this was so important to do, I just wanted to do it. As it turns out, it's going to save us here as our dominion shrinks ever further. Now some excellent news comes in. The enemy army not only didn't attack me, allowing me to gather all of my troops together, but about 200 of their troops went back to the left, so they've now got less on the front line. I've got more. Who knows whether it's at all balanced, but it's looking better. The balance has improved since the last turn. That's the best news we can hope for. Our dominion, though, has shrunk ever further. So yes, I'm going to start spamming out priests anywhere you can build them. My overall goal is to have a priest in every single tile that we own, constantly preaching. I still didn't know at this point in the campaign how to look up what your dominion is. It's basically just a number, and it's represented by how many candles are next to some of the details of a province when you click on it. I had no idea what that was, but I later discovered that's what's going on, and we don't have very many. Now then, It's time for the big one. The enemy group next to us attacked my gathered up main force. It's all or nothing in this one, and the two sides just run at each other. The enemy's ranged units will have free reign. We can't really stop them right here. We're going to rely on our superior spear octopus guys to hack through the enemy and do the damage. Well, as the battle goes on, we perhaps are doing some damage, but not enough. The enemy's sheer numbers are getting the better of us, and some of our troops start to rout. Being showered with arrows the entire time probably isn't helping either. We need some better tactics or some sort of flanking units. Well, we killed about half of them, but our army is in tatters after that battle. This is the big disaster. We are not going to be occupying this area by the looks of things, or at least not for now, because I'm just going to be continuously recruiting new troops and starting to put a new army together at our undersea castle in the hopes of one day counter-attacking. We are successful in retreating everything off the land, so that's something, I guess. This is about 2 turns later. There was another random event where some krakens have appeared and started taking over this place in the top left, but our troops are still alive because they're hiding inside the fortress I built up there, so that's nice. We'll have some time to send a few mermen to deal with the krakens. But yes, we've started to lose the land. They can take that last bit at their leisure. All of our commanders and surviving troops are gathered up at this castle. The castle is a good place to recruit new units, so we'll be doing that. But what I want to know is, will the enemy just swarm to the north or south? They could start moving freely through the sea, and they probably should if they want to maintain their momentum. But I suspect now that they can't, and the reason I suspect that is because they could have done it, and many of our other neighbours could be doing it right now, but aren't. We have so many undefended places that enemies aren't attacking that it makes me think the situations in which land factions can attack the sea are more limited than I feared. Now obviously I could go to Google right now and find out the answer to that question and not have the commentary be about how little I know of this mechanic. However, I actually quite enjoy not knowing. It gives you a few extra surprises, and I like that in a strategy game. So we'll just sit here, not knowing how close we are to general calamity and losing the game. Well, we've avoided losing thanks to the Dominion thing, mostly by accident. As for the military situation, we're low on units, we're at war in every direction, and maybe the enemy can attack us whenever they want, but maybe they won't. We just don't know. We have to pray and believe, which is on theme with this game, I think. So let's believe in the great jellyfish, unlike most of my people, and pray for its salvation in the next part.